Hi College! In a previous video, we learned all about diatonic triads of major keys. Now we're going to talk about the diatonic triads in minor keys, and we're going to be using harmonic minor, because harmonic minor is the most common form of minor. So, first, on the first staff, I'd like you to draw a treble clef, and on the second staff, a treble clef. On the first staff, we're going to write C major diatonic triads. So let's do that now, together. First, I'm making all of my root notes for each triad. Then I'll make my thirds. And now I'll supply the fifth. Let's circle the primary triads. That's 1, 4, and 5, or the tonic, subdominant, and dominant. Let's supply the Roman numerals for those primary triads in the key of C major. We have a capital 1, capital Roman numeral 4, and a capital Roman numeral 5. Let's box our secondary triads. That's the 2, it's minor. That's the 3, it's also minor. That's the 6, it's minor as well. Let's bubble around our diminished triad, which is lowercase VII with the diminished circle. Okay, on the second staff, we're going to write the A minor diatonic triads, and we're going to use the harmonic form. So let's do this together. So if we're in the key of A minor, our tonic triad is A. I'm just going to spell out the harmonic minor scale. A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp, A. Recall that harmonic minor has a raised leading tone, making it T-do. So in the key of A minor, we have a G sharp. But we're not going to include that in the key signature. We have to include that as an accidental. Now I can build my thirds above the root of each of those triads. Now I'll supply the fifth for each of those triads. I'm going to need some ledger lines here. Remember, triads are line, 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 or space, space, space. Let's go ahead and circle our primary triads for A minor. It's still going to be 1, 4, and 5. Let's go ahead and box our secondary triads. That's 2, 3, 6. Let's bubble our leading tone. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to C major up here, and I'm going to write a big C with a colon, indicating the key of C major. And on the second staff, I'm going to write a lowercase a and provide a colon to signify that we're in A minor. You might even see an H like this in parentheses, indicating that it's not just A natural minor, but it's A harmonic minor. That's the form that we're using. Now what I have to do is on the second staff, go through each triad and make sure I have that G sharp to make it harmonic minor. We have it in the leading tone triad already, but wherever there's any other G's, we need to make G sharps. So it looks as if we have a G sharp in the 3 chord, C, E, G sharp. We'll have to make that because A harmonic minor has a G sharp in it. That's the leading tone. and the other G sharp exists in the 5 chord, right there, the third. So now I have my G sharps. This is A harmonic minor and all of the diatonic triads that exist in A harmonic minor. Now what I have to do is supply the Roman numeral analysis for A harmonic minor, based on the intervals from root to third and third to fifth for each of these triads. So my tonic triad in A minor is obviously minor. That's a minor third, A to C, and a major third, C to E. So my Roman numeral is going to be a lowercase 1. My second triad, or the supertonic triad in harmonic minor, here in the key of A harmonic minor, is B, D, F. B to D is a minor third, and D to F is also a minor third. Two superimposed minor thirds indicate a diminished quality. So in A harmonic minor, the 2 chord is diminished. And I need that circle next to the Roman numeral to differentiate between minor and diminished. Let's look at the 3 chord. We have a C to an E, which is a major third, and an E to a G sharp because it's harmonic minor. That's 2 major thirds on top of each other. Therefore, the 3 chord in A harmonic minor is a capital 3 with an augmented symbol, because that triad is augmented. If we were not using the harmonic minor form and we were using the natural minor form, the triad would not need the plus sign. It would just be major. Let's observe the 4 chord, or the subdominant chord, in A harmonic minor. We have a D to an F, a minor third, and an F to an A, a major third, making the 4 chord in A harmonic minor a minor triad. The 5th chord has a G sharp in it. That's the dominant chord. We have an E to a G sharp and a G sharp to a B. That is a major triad because we're using harmonic minor, so that gets a capital Roman numeral 5. For the 6th chord, we have an F to an A and then an A to a C. That is a major triad, which means we need to make capital VI to indicate that it's a major 6 chord in the key of A harmonic minor. And finally, our leading tone triad is G sharp to B. That's a minor third, and then a B to a D, a minor third, making the leading tone triad 7 diminished. So whenever you have diatonic triads in harmonic minor form, you will see these Roman numerals. The 1 chord and the 4 chord are minor. The 2 chord and the 7 chord are diminished. The 5 chord and the 6 chord are major. And the 3 chord is augmented. Just as single tones in a given key have scale degree names, triads in keys have names as well. All of these should look familiar and make sense by this point. The scale degree names above will not change and are the same for triads in major and minor keys. What does change are the Roman numerals. That's because the quality of the triads change for major and minor keys. Here is an example of C major and its parallel minor, C minor. Here we have circled 5 triads. The circled triads in major and minor that are diatonic triads have the same root but a different quality. Notice that we have a key signature for C minor, but we are using the harmonic minor form, and that is why we have to raise the leading tone. What is the leading tone in C harmonic minor? A B natural, a half a step away from tonic. So that is why your 3 chord has a B natural and has a 3 with an augmented sign next to it. That is why your 5 chord has a B natural in it. And that is why your 7 diminished chord has a B natural in it as well. Notice that the 1st and 4th triads are minor triads in minor keys. Also notice that the 1st and 4th triads are major triads in major keys. Notice that in a minor key, the 2nd chord becomes diminished because the 6th scale degree lowered a half step, in this case, the A flat, or lay if you're a fan of solfege. If you were very observant with the last figure from the previous frame, you would have seen some things which might have raised your eyebrows. Let's look again. Below is the same figure from the previous frame. Do you see anything out of the ordinary? We know that we are using the harmonic minor form for these diatonic triads when we see the B natural accidental in the 3 chord, the 5 chord, and the 7 chord. And we must write the 3 chord as a 3 plus for augmented. The 5 chord is major, not minor, because of the B natural. The 7 chord is diminished with the B natural as the root. I see natural signs for the C minor scale. B naturals, to be precise. That means harmonic minor. I also see a plus sign, or the augmented sign, next to the Roman numeral 3 in the 3rd triad of the minor key. That also signifies the use of harmonic minor. The B naturals in the key of C minor suggest the use of C harmonic minor. The 7th scale degree is raised to B natural instead of a subtonic B flat. Number 2, because of the use of the B natural in the 3rd triad in the minor key, you will notice that it is an augmented triad, which is what the plus sign is for. Number 3, because of the use of the B natural in the 5th triad in the minor key, you will notice that the triad is now major. So a capital Roman numeral 5 must be used for the Roman numeral analysis. For all intensive purposes, we're going to indicate the dominant, or the 5 chord, if it's capital, by writing it like this on any papers or worksheets we may have. If for some reason the 5 chord happens to be minor, we will write it like that. So here's some questions for you at the bottom of the page. What quality would the 3rd, 5th, and 7th triads of the minor key be if we were to use B flats instead of B naturals? Well, the 3 augmented triad would become a major triad, which would just be capital Roman numeral 3 without the augmented sign. The 5 chord would become minor instead of major and would be a lowercase v. And the 7 diminished triad would actually become major, B flat, D, F. This would mean that you are using the natural minor form. But for now, we will deal with harmonic minor when spelling and writing triads in minor keys. So please remember this quote. I don't mean to be a whiner, but raise that 7th when in minor. Okay, college. As an adjunct to Roman numerals, the key is identified by an abbreviation of its name followed by a colon, and this we already know. What I've done here is I've crossed out the M. We don't need M, meaning major, because all we need is the capital D and a colon, which indicates that the key is D major. If the D were lowercase, then we would be dealing with D minor. So now, let's do this activity and write the proper designation for each key. Let's do the first one together. The first one is B minor. That would be a lowercase b followed by a colon. Let's do number 6 together. A sharp minor. It's a minor key, so we need a lowercase a, and don't forget about your sharp sign and your colon. Without the sharp sign, it would just be A minor, not a sharp minor. Try 2 through 5 right now. One thing I want to do for number 3, C sharp minor, is to draw a line over the C, indicating that you mean to tell me it's a lowercase c. Please make sure that you do that. Let's write the key indicated by each symbol. In other words, the opposite of the activity we just did. Let's do the first one together. It's a capital E with a flat sign. That indicates that we are in E flat major. Let's try number 6. It's a lowercase g with a sharp sign. That indicates G sharp minor. Try 2 through 5 right now. Let's check your work and see how you did. Number 2 is A flat minor. Number 3 is B flat major. Number 4 is the key of F major. 5 is the key of C minor. And 6 is the key of G sharp minor. Okay, college, here's where things can get just a little confusing. Let's try this activity. We have to write the proper Roman numeral for each triad. Recall that if you see a lowercase letter, the key is minor, and it's the harmonic form. Recall if you see an uppercase letter, that we are dealing with major keys. Also recall that sometimes triads can exist in multiple keys. That is, common triads. That's why in the second example you see that that triad exists diatonically in both the key of C major and G major. Let's do the first one together. The key is F minor. My root of that triad is A flat. The third is a C, and the fifth is an E. I know that that triad is augmented, because A flat to C is a major third, and C to E is a major third. So I'm going to make a little plus sign here as a reminder that that is an augmented triad. My root is A flat. Ask yourself, A flat is what in the key of F harmonic minor? If you said 3, you'd be correct. A flat is the third scale degree. And we cannot forget the plus sign next to that Roman numeral 3 because the triad is indeed augmented. Let's try another one together. How about the bass clef first example? Our two keys are C minor, that's the harmonic minor form, and a C major. The triad is B as the root, D as the third, and F as the fifth. B to D is a minor third, D to F is a minor third. The triad is diminished. I'll put a symbol right there. In the key of C harmonic minor, we have a leading tone. The leading tone is B. So the Roman numeral is 7, which is lowercase, plus the diminished sign. In the key of C major, B is the leading tone. So the Roman numeral for this triad in the key of C major is lowercase VII with the diminished circle. Let's take a few minutes to complete the rest of these exercises. And please keep in mind that when we're in minor keys, we're using the harmonic minor form, so you have to raise the leading tone. Please also remember that the Roman numeral must indicate the quality. If it's augmented, we have a capital Roman numeral with the augmented plus sign. If it's diminished, we have lowercase Roman numeral with the diminished circle. If it's just a major triad, the Roman numeral should be capitalized. If it's just a minor triad, the Roman numeral should be lowercase. Good luck, college! Okay, college, let's work out some of these solutions and see how you did. So the first thing I'm going to do above each triad is indicate the quality as a reminder. So G to B, B to D, that's a major triad. I'm just going to put an M here for major. The next one, C sharp to E to G, is diminished. I'll put the symbol. The next one, C, E, G, that's major. The next one, ACE, is a minor triad. EGB is a minor triad. FAC is a major triad. In the bass clef, second measure, D flat FA, that's going to be an augmented triad. B flat DF is major. DFA is minor. E flat G B natural is augmented. A sharp C sharp E is diminished. G flat B flat D flat is major. Now that I have the qualities, I can go back and look at the key that's specified and figure out the Roman numeral. So C major, I have the root is a G of that triad. G is the 5th scale degree in the key of C major. Therefore, this is the 5 chord, and it's major in the key of C. And it's the 1 chord in the key of G, the tonic triad. In the third measure of the treble clef, I have a C sharp as the root. C sharp is the leading tone in the key of D major. Leading tone is the 7th scale degree. So I'm going to put my lowercase VII, and I cannot forget the diminished circle, because it is a diminished triad. The next one, CEG, well, that's the 1 chord in C major, and that's the 4 chord in G major. The next one, A minor, the root is A. That's the 1 chord in A minor, and it needs to be a lowercase I. In the next example, we have E as the root of this minor triad. That's the tonic triad in E minor. That's a minor triad, so it's Roman numeral lowercase I. In the next one, I have F as the root of the triad, which is the tonic triad, or capital 1 in the key of F, and capital 5 in the key of B flat. Moving on to bass clef, measure 2. I have a D flat as the root. My key is B flat harmonic minor. Ask yourself where D flat lies in the key of B flat minor. That's the 3rd scale degree. This triad is a D flat augmented triad, which is the 3 chord in B flat harmonic minor. And it's augmented, so it gets a plus sign. In the next example, B flat is the root. It's a major triad. It's the tonic triad in the key of B flat, and it's the 4 chord, or the subdominant triad, in the key of F major. In the next example, it's a minor triad whose root happens to be D. D is the 4th scale degree in the key of A. Since it's a minor triad, it gets a lowercase IV. Since D is the root and D is the key, that would be the tonic minor triad in the key of D harmonic minor, lowercase I. In the next example, we're in C minor, and notice that when you're typing out C's, you can clearly see the difference between a big capital C and a lowercase c. If you are handwriting this on any papers, worksheets, quizzes, tests, exams, you should definitely include the line over the C if you mean minor. This triad is augmented, and the root is E flat. E flat is the 3rd scale degree in the key of C harmonic minor. Since it's augmented, it's going to get a capital 3 and a plus sign. In the next example, I'm in the key of B major, and the root of this triad is A sharp. A sharp is the leading tone in the key of B harmonic minor. And I know that leading tone is diminished. That's what it should look like, lowercase VII with the diminished symbol. The next one, the root is G flat of this G flat major triad. It's the tonic triad in the key of G flat major, and it's the subdominant triad in the key of D flat major. Hopefully you did really well with this. Now let's explore another activity. Number 1, we need to realize the key and Roman numeral and draw the key signature. Number 2, we need to write the triads indicated by the Roman numerals using whole notes. Let's try number 1 together. Realizing the key simply means to look at the letter with the colon. Let's realize that the first one is in E minor because of the E is lowercase and then we have the colon. We can now draw the key signature for E minor. Hopefully you remember that E minor relative major is G, so it has 1 sharp. Step 1 is done. Step 2, write the triad indicated by the Roman numerals. We need to build the 2 diminished triad in the key of E minor. Ask yourself what the second scale degree is in the key of E minor. It's F sharp. F sharp is the root. No need to draw a sharp sign next to that because we have a key signature. We know that's an F sharp. Now I'm ready to build my triad. There's the 3rd, there's the 5th. Cross-reference it to make sure that it is indeed a diminished triad. F sharp to A is a minor 3rd. A to C is a minor 3rd. Congratulations, we just did the first example together. Try your hand at the rest. Good luck, college. Okay, college, let's check your work and see how we did. Let's do this together. So my key for the second measure is F sharp minor. You should know the relative major of F sharp minor is A major. So we're dealing with F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Let's do all the key signatures first. D major for the third measure is just F sharp and C sharp. B flat minor, the relative major is D flat major. So we're dealing with 5 flats, B, E, A, D, and G. The next one is C major, no sharps, no flats. The next one, the last one, is C sharp major. That's all 7. Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Now that I've supplied my key signatures, what I want to do is go back to each example and look at the Roman numeral and make a little note of something. So in the second measure, I have the 7 diminished chords. So I'm going to write down that I need the 7th scale degree to be the root. For D major, I need the 3rd scale degree to be the root of this triad. For the B flat minor, I need the 3rd scale degree to be the root. For C major, I need the 6th scale degree to be the root. I'm getting this from the Roman numeral. And for the C sharp major, I need the 2nd scale degree to be the root. Now I'll go back and write the quality of the triad I have to build is going to be diminished for the 2nd measure, minor for the 3rd measure, augmented for the 4th measure, minor for the 5th measure, and for the last measure, minor. Let's put my root in. So the 7th scale degree in F sharp harmonic minor is going to be an E sharp. I'll need to supply that accidental next to the E. Why? Because in harmonic minor, we have a raised leading tone. That E sharp is not part of the key signature. Now I can build my diminished triad. E sharp to G sharp to B is a diminished triad. I do not have to put the sharp sign directly next to the G because I have a key signature. For the 3rd measure, D major, the 3 chord, the 3rd scale degree of D major is F sharp. That's the root. Now I can build my triad and make sure it's minor. F sharp to A, minor 3rd, A to C sharp, major 3rd. For the next one, B flat minor, I need the 3 augmented chord. What's the 3rd scale degree in B flat minor? That would be a D flat. I can write it down here, or perhaps you wrote it up the octave, that would be fine as well. D flat to F is major, F to A natural is major. If you forgot that natural sign next to the A, then you're forgetting to use the harmonic minor form. Remember, in B flat harmonic minor, we have an A, not an A flat. The A is the leading tone. In the next example, C major, what's the 6th scale degree? I believe it's an A. We can build our minor triad up from that. A to C and C to E. That's a minor triad. In the last example, C sharp major, the 2nd scale degree of C sharp is D sharp. No need to put a sharp sign next to that because it's in our key signature. So we have D sharp to F sharp to A sharp, making it a minor triad. That's the 2 chord in C sharp major. How did you do? Hopefully you did well. This is getting a bit tricky, so see me for some extra help if you need. Thanks for watching, college. Make it a great day.